obviously a big group, and we want to make sure we get everyone in that we can.
That's right, it's game time. Thanks for joining us for our very first show, and our very first guest on the debut is the Los Lunas football team and head coach Jeremy Maupin. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
You're coming off a win opening week over Piedra Vista. What'd you find out about your team in week one?
We were really proud with their effort going up there. We got some traveling these first few weeks, and so to go up there and we really played well in all three facets of the game. And we didn't look like it was our first game, and that was kind of one of our goals. We showed up and played well on both sides, to hold a good football team to a shutout, and then put 28 points up on the board and had a defensive touchdown. And just a lot of really good things went well that day, so really proud of our team and their effort that day.
You had the shutout. You also had a defensive touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. 28 points total. Were you more pleased or surprised with your offense or your defense?
Really both of them. We were just really excited. We took some shots downfield and we completed a couple of those. And but when we needed to move the ball, we were good doing that. And then our defense just shutting those guys down on some fourth downs and even some fourth and inches. And then 3 big turnovers that we created. And so really just both groups were really proud of both of them.
You're coming off a state championship appearance last year. Do you address it with the team? Do you talk about last year? Obviously, the goal is to get back there again.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about it all the time. I mean, the seniors chose our kind of phrase for this year, and we went with redemption because we don't want to just be a team that's excited to get to the championship, but we're trying to go finish the journey this year. And so, our kids have really bought into that and had a really good spring and good off season, and a good start to the season last week, and got a tough opponent this week, but we're excited to just kind of take each week by one game at a time, and then hopefully we get a chance to go play for another championship there at the end, but this time we finish it the right way.
I see the message. You have redemption on your shirt. You also have the 119 number. What's significant about that?
We went with 119 because Los Lunas has never won a championship before, so we're trying to be the first one, and then 2019, so 119.
You started the year on the road. You mentioned you got another tough opponent on the road this coming week. We're going to talk about them after this.
Are you living the life of an athlete? The New Mexico Activities Association brings you Life of an Athlete, a resource for students, educators, and parents to understand the challenges students face. Athletes, did you know one night of drinking will negatively affect your athletic performance for 2 weeks? Or that athletes who drink and do drugs are twice as likely to get injured? Alcohol's effects can reduce a high school athlete's potential by as much as 20 to 30%. Are you living the life of an athlete? Log on to lifeofanathlete.com to find out today.
Of course it's game time, and we're here with the Los Lunas football team and head coach Jeremy Maupin, coming off a win over Piedra Vista. One road game, you got a second one back-to-back and a tough one heading out to Clovis this week. What do you know about the Wildcats? What kind of game do you expect?
Really good football team, well coached, a lot of tradition there in Clovis, and I know Coach Fullerton's a really good guy and has really done a really good job with that program. So we know we're going to have to travel well. We're going to have to play really, really good football on both sides of the ball. And, we kind of like playing 6A teams. So it helps prepare us for later down the road when we get to the championship. So as soon as we saw them on the schedule, we were, hey, man, this is a good opportunity for us and to just go in and compete and have fun and hopefully go get another W.
How difficult is it starting the season with 2 straight road games?
This year we start with 4, so we don't have a home game until week 5. So it's a little bit different this year, but we traveled a little bit with our guys this summer to some 7-on-7s to kind of start preparing to handle bus rides and do those things. And we know that we want to play in the championship game. We're going to be traveling probably somewhere. We went to the Wool Bowl last year, so we look at it as good experience and good opportunity to see if we can stay focused and be prepared for when we get off the bus and go play a good opponent.
All right. Well, good luck next week against Clovis.
Thanks
for being our first guest on Game Time. We'll be back after this.
Do you love sports? Do you want a front row seat for exciting high school sports action in New Mexico? If the answer is yes to either of those questions, then becoming an interscholastic sports official may be right for you. The New Mexico Officials Association is looking for individuals age 15 years or older to serve as officials in 10 different sports. No experience is necessary and training is provided. If you're interested, call 505-923-3110. That's 505-923-3110. Or go to the website nmact.org and click on the Officials tab.
Welcome back to Game Time. Week 1 of the high school football season is in the books. Let's take a look back at some of the highlights and standout performances from the weekend.
Let's start the Friday Night Lights recap with the wildest finish of the week. Centennial at Rio Rancho. It was a good one. Rio Rancho quarterback Isaiah Chavez rushed for 4 touchdowns and threw 3 more in the game. The Rams built up a 28-point lead in the second half, but watched it slip away. Centennial with a second-half rally. They would tie the game at 47 when senior quarterback Aiden Trujillo connected with Darren Rodriguez to send it into overtime. In OT, the Rams scored first, but Centennial's Estevan Lowry blocked the extra point, and that proved to be the difference maker. Gabriel Acosta would tie it up with the 7-yard carry in OT, and Joseph Fernandez put through the game-winning extra point, 54-53 Centennial. The Cleveland Storm made it all the way to the state final last year, but came up short. They're considered a favorite to get there again. Storm facing Oñate on Friday. It marked the return of running back Dorian Lewis, who missed the final couple weeks of the season last year with a knee injury. He took the screen pass on their opening drive and kicked it into another gear. Lewis caught 2 touchdowns and ran for another 2. Backup quarterback Trey Ortega threw 3 scores and kicked 6 extra points. Man, he had a busy night. Storm with a 50-0 shutout. Las Cruces came up to Albuquerque and gave notice that they're a team that can put up some points. The Bulldogs met up with Manzano. Quarterback Marcos Lopez was 15 for 19 passing for 289 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran for another score. Running back Johnny Terrazas rushed for 179 yards and 4 touchdowns. Las Cruces left the Duke City with a 55-27 win under their belt. Cibola freshman Aiden Chavez helped the Cougars win their opener. Chavez completed 32 of 38 passes for 428 yards and 6 touchdowns as Cibola beat Sandia 40-35.
I knew that he was groomed. He did everything in the summer he needed to. He paid attention, he listened, he was coachable. He comes in and meets with me often, and I knew he knew how to run the offense, but I didn't expect that. His receivers fought for him, his O-line fought for him, and they've kind of just taken him in under their wing. They don't treat him like he's a freshman. He listens to them, but yet he also goes out to his receivers. He corrects them when they need to be corrected. They get on the same page. He'll tell them, hey, I need you to break that route here at this depth. And they respect what he has to say. And so he's come in and fit in. He didn't come in and act like he's anybody special. He just kind of does what he does. And the seniors take him under their wing. And so it's kudos to the seniors for what they've done to really bring in a younger guy like that and treat him like everybody else.
Down south, there was quite the shootout. Artesia and Carlsbad went score for score in this year's Eddy County War. Carlsbad starts the season 1-0 with a 48-35 victory over Artesia. Roswell picked up right where they left off last year. The defending state champs picked up a road win on opening night in Ruidoso. Roswell beat the Warriors 53-13. Joel Renteria led Roswell with 121 yards on the ground. Senior Roderick Cedillo scored twice. Joel Sanchez returned to kick for a score. Quarterback Dominic Nava threw for just under 200 yards and 2 scores. He also ran one in. Roswell is on the road in Week 2 at Lovington. Robertson is trying to get back to the championship for a 5th straight year. They didn't have a lot of fireworks in their opener, but it was a win. Robertson starts the season with a 6-0 victory over Santa Fe on Friday night. Dulce and Melrose met up Friday afternoon in Albuquerque. The two schools played a neutral site game to try and cut down on travel. The Buffaloes started the season with a bang. Tristan Senna took the opening kick. He would zig, he would zag, he'd make his way to the sideline, and yep, they are not going to catch him. Now that's how you start the year. Melrose with an opening week shutout, 54-0. That wasn't the only opening kick return score of the weekend. On Saturday, Goddard came up to Albuquerque to take on the St. Pius Sartans. This is the opening kick. Goddard's Conrad Villapando makes his way through traffic, stayed on his feet, and just kept going. Villalpando with the first score of the game and season. Goddard went on to win that one 21-0. Also on Saturday, Hope Christian was hosting Portales. The Rams found the end zone 3 times, all on big yardage plays. This is Baylor Diaz hooking up with Jalen Allen for 52 yards. The Rams scored on passing plays of 52, 98, and 72 yards as part of their 22-13 victory over the Huskies. Portales is on the road for the second straight week against St. Michael's. And on Thursday night, Volcano Vista came out with a statement win over defending state champ La Cueva. This one had the makings of a playoff matchup in Week 1. The Bears had the lead in the first half, but they couldn't stop Diego Pavia, who racked up 4 touchdowns in his Volcano Vista debut. Hawks beat the Bears. Also on Thursday, El Dorado put up 50 in their shutout win over West Mesa. Don't forget about the Eagles. They had 4 rushing scores, another 2 in the air. They also had an interception returned for a touchdown. They did it all. El Dorado gets Las Cruces this week. That should be a good one.
Here's a look at just some of the key matchups for Week 2 in high school football. Artesia will host Hobbs in what should be a shootout. Last year's state runner-up Los Lunas travels to Leon Williams Stadium to clash with Clovis. Estancia will host 2-time defending state champ Eunice. Farmington is home against Belen. Goddard gets Carlsbad in Week 2. West Las Vegas will travel to Santa Rosa. On Saturday, we have some pretty good matchups with Las Cruces and El Dorado at Wilson Stadium at 1 in the afternoon. St. Michael's will host Portales as well. This show is about more than just football. Other fall sports are up and running like cross country, soccer, and volleyball. What a nice segue, right? Because I want to tell you a little bit about a volleyball program that's lifted a lot of blue trophies. Here's a look at 5-time defending state champ Texaco.
The last time we saw the Texaco volleyball team, they were leaving the court as state champs. The same as the year before that, and the year before that, the year before that, and the year before that.
I mean, there is definitely some pressure, but it's exciting. It's kind of a cool role to be in, and we're just hoping that we can defend that and keep the tradition coming at our school. But there's definitely pressure, but I feel like we can live up to that.
I feel like we have a little bit of pressure on us, like if we're not like as good as we were as last year, but we can get up there and work harder and show other teams that we are.
Texaco enters the season as the 5-time defending state champs. Surprisingly, veteran coach Kristen Scanlon doesn't even address the previous year's blue trophy.
We don't even talk about it. It's a whole new group of kids. We have 2 returning starters from last year's team, so it's a whole new bag every time we come in, and so yeah, we don't focus on that.
Texaco's overall record during the past 5-year stretch is an impressive 107 wins and just 14 losses.
When you've won in the past, it's easier, I think, to continue that winning streak, whereas if you come into a program and you were 5-15, it's a lot more difficult. So yeah, I think the expectation, the bar is really high, and the kids that are returning keep that bar high.
This year's group doesn't have a lot of varsity experience.
I think we're more of a defensive team. We've got a lot of great hitters. It's a very young team as well, very inexperienced. We're going to have to work hard to be successful this year. It's a little bit different than last year. Last year we were really heavy in our middle hitters, and that's where most of our offense came from. But this year we're playing a little bit more defensively, so that's exciting to see.
The seniors come up with a list of goals and the culture they want to establish each year. On the top of the charts this year is enjoy the game.
If you're not happy and you don't have energy, of course you're going to get down on each other and yourself. So we want one of our goals to be energy and just talk to each other and not get down and encourage each other.
We get stuck in this whole thing that it's just all work, and volleyball is such a fun game, and it's such a team game. You have to have your teammates, and so we emphasize that part of it.
So what's the outlook for this year's group?
We've got to grow up really quick and really fast, and we'll just see what happens from there.
Texaco will open the season September 3rd against Grady.
Now you see what we do on Game Time each week. Highlights, features, and we have some other surprises as the year goes along. If your school is interested in being a guest on our show, send me an email, jp@nmact.org, and we will check the calendar and find a time to get you on the program. We plan to send you off each week with a meme. What's a meme? Well, it's a picture or funny photo with a text or phrase or saying that maybe pokes fun at an idea or situation that a lot of us can relate to. Still don't get it? Ask any millennial and they'll fill you in. That's all for this episode of Game Time. We'll see you next Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. Here's your meme of the week.